Next, we have a...
Little known fact: being attacked by a marauder while being side
Yeah.
disruptor on mud actually makes you go backwards because you're
Yeah,
so
not many
slow.
people have the time to test that, but it is true. It's very good.
It's definitely true. Quote me on it. I
I'm not
dare
going
you.
to, Fu.
Dare. I dare you, viewers. Quote me on it, or I'll
Oh,
hug
yeah,
you.
you don't want that. Quote him on it. Firebat Hero. Okay, Firebat Hero is one of the other Terran heroes I'd really say is necessary besides Medic, simply because it has some ridiculous good DPS. It's got good speed, especially when you combine it with Stim. It's pretty tanky. It splashes. It kills creep. It kills heroes. It's just all around a very good hero. Early game, you're going to be kind of weak against ranged heroes because Napalm Rocket isn't a particularly sustainable poke. It just hurts a lot when it does hit. And otherwise, you don't really have a ranged attack, so they can harass you. But very quickly that starts to go away, especially if you're against Terran or Zerg, and then you can go splash first and kill off their creep, and then your creep can harass them off the lane. Um, you'll mostly want to focus on anything that gets you farm, so as much as possible go towards Splash and Stim. Juggernaut Plating and Napalm Rocket are nice, but I personally prefer to go as much farm as possible. As soon as you get Armageddon, start casting it. Be willing to just back just for energy to cast it again, because it's a great amount of farm if you can get it on a double lane or something like that. And then late game, your whole focus will be on backdooring because you're very hard to stop unless a coordinated team gets stuns off on you. You're very tanky, so it'll take them all to bring you down, even if they do. And if you can get into their base, you can take out 4 buildings in roughly 10 to 15 seconds. So you're very, very good.
Okay, next it's my turn again. It's gonna be Ghost Hero. Personally, it's the troll hero of all the ghosts, all of the heroes in the game. Ghost is one of the ones I hate the most. It's very annoying. Cloak with EMP and snipe, very annoying. How I like to play Ghost, I like to get at least one level of range, depending on my hero matchup, and basically just go EMP level 1, of course, and get it as often as I can. And I like to go snipe, or if I'm in a trolling mood, I like to go cloak with one level of range and EMP, and then just go nuke double waves all game for lulz. But Ghost is a very, very squishy hero. You have to know your limits with it. Know that anytime you can be killed. It's good for building up a dominated army. You want to go lockdown or Yamato at some point in the game. And it can also be used for a support role with Defensive Matrix. It's good creep clear. Probably one of the better creep clears on Terran. Definitely not the best. Its strength is being annoying, supporting. It can kind of do a lot of things. Nuke is pretty versatile despite not being particularly effective. So, yeah, it's
Okay.
a troll.
So moving on, we have the Predator hero. Now, a lot of people don't play this properly. There's really only two ways to use this. Um, Either you go crittering or you go domination, but either way, you need to do something that guarantees you a lot of farm. Now, a lot of people don't like the Cubs, but Cubs are actually very good so long as you aren't feeding them to your opponent. Cubs do a lot of damage, especially early game, and you can kill pretty much any hero with a full surround of Cubs at that point. Um, you'll want to go Cubs if you're crittering, you'll want to go Cubs if you're dominating. So I would say that should be one of your first, and then agility because you really need the speed. You're primarily a ganking hero, so once you've gotten your items, you just run around the map, you find lone heroes, and you jump on them and kill them. Or you can use your paramagnetic attraction to drag your dominated army around, drag it into a base.
Oh, by the way, Astra's pragmatic attraction.
Paramagnetic attraction.
Yeah, what he's trying to say is pragmatic. He has a speech disorder, which makes him say paramagnetic or
Yeah,
whatever the
because
hell he
I
says
like to
instead of
pronounce
pragmatic.
words, but correctly.
Correctly, it's a terrible disorder. He just loves
Yes,
pronouncing words
it's so
correctly.
horrible. But you can pull your army into a base with that.
I'll post a link to donate to research for a
Oh,
cure in the
foo, come on,
description.
come on. So you can pull your army into the base, and they can kill buildings very, very fast. Basically, you can use your paramagnetic attraction to augment the mobility of a lot of other heroes. You can do evacs on Thors. You can do all sorts of cool things with it. Just be careful who you pull in, because if you pull a Firebat in, you're dead. If you pull in a DZ, you're dead. anything with major AoE damage you don't want to actually pull into you. So next we have the Helion. The Helion is I used to really love it. It's still a good hero, but it really, really falls off after mid-game. Now, the thing with Helion is it is the fastest hero in the game once you've gotten fire boost all the way up and you give it speed. And then you basically just run around. Your whole focus is on getting Yamato early on, and then running around and hitting people with a combination of your stun and Yamato, and doing that. It's not a great laner just because its poke is too expensive and it has really poor DPS, so you'll pretty much always want to critter with it unless there's a builder or like pred. Otherwise, you should be doing it. And the fire trail is a very nice ability. You can use it to wipe creep waves if you use it right. Unfortunately, you getting money doesn't really help you that much. I would suggest with Helion, if you want to remain relevant, you have to get domination. And then go around, because you're very, very hard to kill if you're good with it. And then you can get a giant army and mash it up and use your stun and lockdown and just basically pretend to be a DA, except without all the cool spells.
I'll say this out of experience. Uh, Helene is faster than your screen scroll, so you might want to use the
Yes,
mini map
yes.
as the mini map as your
Or you
friend.
could zoom out and raise your screen shell settings, but that's my opinion.
Next, we have a Terran teddy bear, the Ares hero. Its abilities are self-repair, enhanced cannons, napalm, antimatter missiles. Hellfire is a really good ultimate that takes literally all of your energy. Ares is the kind of hero that's good at a lot of things, but not really good enough to shine, so it's a little bit weak. It's great for clearing creep graves with Flamethrower, so against Terran or Zerg, you will want to go Flamethrower, but the choice is up to you depending on how much damage you're taking as to whether to go Self-Repair and Enhanced Cannons as well. Against Protoss, you want to go Cannons, particularly against a pokeable hero, and that's what you do at the start. Late game, you just kind of try not to die, try and clear creeps. You're really slow, you have to keep that in mind. You're not nearly as tanky as you would expect, but I will say this, out of all of the weaknesses Ares has, its biggest strength is probably at the hour and a half minute mark with a few hundred, like 50 stat ups, just kind of walking their base with Flamethrower, Defensive Matrix, and your ultimate, auto-casting Self-Repair for ending the game backdoor with builders. And Firebat does the same thing with better, but there's its strength, its weakness, easy to kill, and it's just not very good at anything.
Uh,
And after that deep breath, we move on to my favorite hero in the game for Terran, probably, which is the Raven hero. In addition to having a very, very smooth and well-shaped tailpipe,
I'm glad you noticed that, Fu.
you'd edit that out, but it has its key thing is just that his missiles, Seeker Missile and Cruise Missile, are the two missiles it has. Seeker Missile locks on and moves rather slowly to your target and does AoE damage. Cruise Missile does the exact same thing, except you can put it anywhere on the map. It also locks on, counter popular if you click directly on a hero, and it costs more energy. Early game, the build that I like to go is Seeker Missile with a level of Science Vessel and Cruise Missile. However, if I'm against Protoss and sometimes Zerg, depending on the hero matchup, I like to go for all Science Vessels because I'm going to warp out the second I can get Domination and start getting them Stalkers and Roaches. And building up me a little fan club and pretend like it's on real life. And I just have fans following me everywhere through the streets. But against Terran, or most of the time Zerg, go Seeker Missile, kill all of the creeps, unless there's a hero who's almost dead in your lane. And then warp out the second you have 900 minerals by Yamato, a drop pod, go back to your lane and start wall killing everybody with Seeker Missile and Yamato. Late game, Raven really starts to get a lot worse because it is probably the easiest hero to gank. You will definitely need lockdown, probably want domination. Yamato, depending on the stage of the game, you'll want it. Late game, once it starts not doing as much, you want to get rid of that and trade it for defensive matrix, and you want speed. Energy all the way up, armor all the way up. One thing that's Raven's pretty good for is flying around, helping backdoors, popping a defensive matrix, running away, maybe Yamatoing a building. But late game, it's not so strong, so you want to keep that in mind. Finally, we have random. If you want random, go to the 000 minute mark in our video and watch it all
Yeah.
again.
And then just yeah.
So there. Well, that is the Terran part of our guide to each hero. I hope you guys
And
enjoyed.
this
As
is
always,
Zeph
this is
signing
Stu
off.
signing off.